hosting Beer Money this coming Thursday night, tomorrow night, 6:30, shortly after all bets are off. Character Sports Bar and Grill has been serving the Parma community and all of their great customers for over 18 years. Featuring a brand new patio and happy hour menu with all menu items under $3, including the quarter-pound Ohio beef burgers. So come on out to happy hour at Characters, located at 6007 Brook Park Road in Parma, between State and Ridge. Joining us now, Chris Antonetti, the general manager of the Cleveland Indians. One after another after another. What a show. Good to have you here.
My pleasure.
Why fire Manny with 6 games to go rather than waiting to the end of the season or firing him a month before?
Well, as we approach the end of the season, we shifted our focus to really assessing what happened this year rather than focusing on the day-to-day of just trying to win that night's game and help those players get better. So as we shifted our attention there, we realized that we felt we needed to make a change, and we felt it was the most respectful way to handle it with Manny. That we informed him once we made the decision, and the fact was, over the last couple of days, we were scheduled to have a staff meeting with the Major League staff that Manny was supposed to lead, as well as individual player exit interviews. And I felt it wouldn't be fair to have Manny have to participate in those once we already made the decision.
I said last season, I said this to Mark previously, that last season I preached that last offseason was going to be the most important offseason for the Indians in many years. And we came up with Aaron Cunningham, Derek Lowe, and Casey Kochman. Will you admit that was a failure?
Yeah, we certainly didn't improve the roster as much as we had hoped last offseason. Our goal is to do a better job this offseason. And then the other thing is that we had hoped a lot of the players that we had here internally would take a step forward, and unfortunately that didn't happen. And I think that's what led to our some of the issues we had in the second half.
You, the media entourage that followed you to the general manager's meetings, you teased them one day, which is out of character for you. And you said that we were close. We've got something brewing that was never revealed. Can you reveal that now?
Nope. We worked on it. We were close, but I'm not going to get into the specifics of it.
Willingham?
I'm not going to get into the specifics of it.
Kadire?
You can keep going. There are a lot of guys. How many more players in Major League Baseball?
All right, here's a tougher one for you. How in heaven's name could the White Sox get Euclid for Lillibridge and Zach Stewart? We had more to offer to them.
We talked about a lot of things. The asking price for us was a little bit different than that for whatever reason. So we explored it, but ultimately the Red Sox decided to go in a different direction.
We can't continue, would you agree, with the DeLucci's, Jason Michaels, Aaron Cunninghams in the world to fill a void?
We certainly need to get guys that were more productive than them, but I'm not sure exactly what you mean. Other than production, yeah, we need to be better in the guys that we bring in and have them produce better than they have.
We went into left field this year with a question mark, and obviously I think all of us were cheering for Shelley Duncan, but it didn't work.
Well, I think stepping back, the thing that ended up not working out was we took a gamble on Grady, and he didn't play. That's the first gamble that we took that didn't work out. Our plan wasn't to go in with with Shelley to start. I think we were hoping Grady would be able to play center, or Michael would play left, or Michael would play center and Grady play left, and obviously that didn't happen.
Can you tell the fans that we've seen the last of Grady Sizemore in an Indians uniform?
I can't say that with certainty, but I think the first and most important thing is that Grady's got to get healthy, and that's where it needs to start for him. And then we continue to maintain respect for him, but as we're looking to plan our team next year, I don't think he will be a central part of how we plan.
So you made a mistake by thinking he was healthy this last year and thus giving him that contract?
Based upon the information we had at the time, we thought he was going to be able to play this year healthy. Unfortunately, he had a number of subsequent injuries that didn't allow that to happen.
So there is a scenario that the Indians could re-sign Grady Sizemore if you're convinced again?
In a very different
context.
Right
or wrong?
Very different context than we've signed him in the past. So it would be a very,
in other words, less money.
A very different set of circumstances.
How about Hafner?
We have to work, obviously, there, just out of respect to the process, there are a number of option decisions we have to make 3 days after the World Series ends and, work forward from there.
We've got a lot of guys up for arbitration, do we not?
We do. We have a lot of guys eligible for arbitration.
And how? What can you share with us about these guys?
In terms of,
well, Perez is one,
right? Chris is eligible for arbitration.
And who else is eligible for arbitration right now?
Justin Masterson, Shin-Soo Choo, Tony Sipp, Joe Smith, Lou Marson. There are a number of guys.
Am I correct in assuming that the forte of the team and to build upon this team is the back end of that bullpen?
Oh, that's a big part of it, but I also feel that we have strength up the middle with Carlos Santana, Asdrubal Cabrera, Jason Kipnis, Michael Brantley. That's a pretty good nucleus to build around, and obviously what Lonnie Chisenhall has done at third base and how he's come back from the injury certainly been encouraging. Shin-Soo Choo is one of the better right fielders in baseball, so there's still a lot of good pieces here for us to build upon. We just need to do a better job complementing them.
You mentioned Chisenhall, and the other day at the press conference, which we carried, of course, live here on STO for the fans, Chris, you mentioned the core players, and you included Chisenhall. I love him, but he's not proven yet.
No, he's not. He's a young player. He's 24 years old. But, you know, the only way to get proven is to play and to have success. The encouraging thing is Lonnie has been pretty good. Has he been perfect? Is he a finished product? No. But he's certainly competed up here. And even like the swing he had the other night, the double down the left field line with 2 strikes against a tough lefty, he's starting to show signs of being a very good major league player. Not a finished product yet, but has a bright future in front of him.
What can you tell the fans as far as trades and a combination of trades and free agency? It is a weak free agent list, and it looks like an old folks' home to me when I looked. And I've gone through it 6 times on the air with the fans, one by one.
Right. Yeah, the free agent market is not quite as strong as we would hope, but there are other opportunities, other ways we can improve the team. I would expect that we'll have a lot of discussions and see if we can try to improve the team that way.
You know, you can't miss. You can't. I don't envy your position. You can't possibly miss on a trade with our being a mid-level team in our situation. You can't.
It's really hard. Yeah, we have to do everything we can to try to maximize our chances of being right on those. But the reality is, if you make trades, you're inevitably going to be wrong sometimes.
How frustrated are you that you didn't pull off that deal you teased the media about in the winter meetings and before the deadline?
I can't afford to be frustrated because that would distract from trying to get other deals done. I think you and I have talked on the show a bunch of times. For every one deal that happens, there are probably 100 or 200 others that don't happen.
Right.
So if I got frustrated every time a deal didn't happen, that wouldn't be productive for us.
What is wrong with Jimenez? Thank God Pomeranz and White have stunk so far for Colorado. Did they know? Did O'Dowd know something that we didn't in that deal with Jimenez? Because he's not the same guy that I saw on the package pitching for Colorado.
No, he's Baldo hasn't yet pitched the way we feel he's capable of pitching, and certainly the way we felt at the time. We need to help get him back on track. I think for him it all starts with delivery and with his mechanics, and those have continued to be inconsistent. So I think we've seen at times his ability to go out and be effective and maintain quality major league stuff, get good lineups out. He's had success against the Tigers. He's beaten the Rangers a couple times, beaten some quality other teams, but it just hasn't been as consistent as we would need it to be. And we're working on it.
Take us through what you do in the process of interviewing with Francona and Sandy's going to be tomorrow. Then you're going to break away and do a press conference, which we'll cover here on STO when Chris addresses the general media. And then you've got Francona coming in on Friday. This is an all-day affair.
Yes, it's all day. It starts in the morning and goes into the late afternoon, evening. And, we've obviously had some dialogue with both candidates already. Have covered some ground to lay a foundation for them coming in. But they'll meet with not only myself, but other members of our front office. They'll meet with some of our senior personnel people as well for them to interact with them. And, at the end of the day, or at the end of the weekend, we'll kind of assess, talk through things, and, try to work through a decision as quickly as we can. That could be as early as next week, or it could take some more time to work through the process.
With someone like Francona, 2 world championships under his belt and a lot more experience, obviously, than Sandy, who's the popular choice with the fans, obviously, would he be better suited to help bring a free agent, just for argumentative purposes, of Josh Willingham, who might have been teetering with the Indians and somebody else, like the Twins last year? Would he be that ace in the hole in that regard to be used?
I think either Terry or Sandy are very well regarded within the industry and would be assets for us as we sought to not only bring players here but staff here. So I think we have two very good candidates, and at least the two that we've identified publicly. I think they're both strong guys that are very well regarded within the industry.
I'll ask you the same thing I asked Mark. Why would Francona want this challenge?
I think he's energized. He embraces challenges. He had a challenge in Boston. He certainly had a challenge in Philadelphia the first time. We have a strong relationship with Terry, one that's built on respect and trust. And, if we go down that path, I think it's certainly something that, he can articulate for himself. But most importantly, I think we're appreciative that he's considering the alternative and is interested in at least talking further about it. And we feel that we have two great candidates in Sandy and Terry, and that's a pretty good start to an interview process.
Mark says money won't be a factor in his case.
I don't expect that to be a limiting factor. I have no reason to think that will be.
What can you tell the fans, Chris? We had Bobby D on, and this is his department, but you're the general manager, the face of this ball club. In all my years in Cleveland, I have never, on the air, off the air, mingling in the community, I have never experienced a negativity about our team like I do now.
I think the way the second half of the season unfolded was, it was historic for us. I don't think any of us could have foreseen it. I understand their frustration. The last month and a half, the last 2 months actually, have been exceptionally painful for us. For us, it's important to pull back a little bit and look at the body. For 2 years, we've spent more days in first place than any other team in our division. And we have a lot of those same players in place. We need to do a better job of complementing that group and finding out the right mix of guys. But it's not as bad as it seems. There are a lot of positives around which to build. We just need to do a better job of, like I said, of complementing them.
All right, Chris, thank you very much. Good luck to you. You
got
a tough job ahead, and it'll be an off-season that is filled with challenges. Chris Antonetti, the general manager of the Cleveland Indians. All right, when we come back, we'll have time to take some of your phone calls. Tonight is the last game of the season. David Huff and Gavin Floyd.